Obesity has been something which has been looked down upon for many years, if you ask me. There is still a lot of social stigma as to I am overweight. I need to go for help. That is the first hurdle. People brand obese patients with a lack of willpower, but that's not the case. So I guess this is where GLP analogs, or the drugs which we call as GLP now, I guess that's where it started. Did you know it came from a lizard? I don't think there is a set age, because we're at this time where I'm seeing 22-year-olds with type 2 diabetes and fatty liver. I don't think the age is what counts, or rather I think Dr. Kritika Bhaskar, first of all, welcome back to my show, and I'm very excited to speak about today's topic. Before we embark on this or start this conversation, let me first introduce you to our viewers. Dr. Kritika Bhaskar specializes in metabolism and genetics, and I've been having a conversation about Ozempic and GLP-1 drugs for a while now. And I feel that this is a conversation that a lot of people need to hear about today. Doctor, everybody's speaking about this today. It's on the news, and recently there have been a lot of announcements. Social media, it's trending with Ozempic and Mounjaro. And is this a new drug? Like, why is there such a craze today, suddenly, to speak about it? Well, GLPs have been on research for over decades. And GLP, or this glucagon-like peptide, it's actually a naturally occurring hormone in our body. It's this beautiful peptide hormone where, it secretes once you have your meal. It acts on your pancreas. It makes sure it produces insulin in a glucose-dependent manner, in such a way that only when your sugar levels are higher than the fasting, it tries to produce insulin and reduces your sugar spike. And it does so without squeezing out your pancreas dry, It makes sure it's producing your insulin, also ensuring that there's enough reserve for fresh production. This is one. The other beautiful thing it does is that it delays gastric motility. It delays your gastric emptying time. So your food tends to stay in your stomach for a longer time. And this way you start getting this feeling of satiety faster. This is a normal mechanism. This is a naturally occurring hormone. In cases where your metabolism is not sound, let's say in cases of insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, obesity, PMOD, in all these places, this normal phenomenon of GLP is skewed, or I should say blunted, right? So I guess this is where the research started. So there is a compound which is helping you control your sugar. There is a compound which is helping you feel full faster. Why don't we just give this to people who don't have enough of it, or not able to, or people who don't have efficient action? Now this is where the catch is. Whatever is produced in our body is stable or active only for a few minutes. There are mechanisms in our body which the only primary function is to go find these GLPs and break it down, right? This also has been in research for quite a while. There are also medications we use to target type 2 diabetes, right? So I guess this is where GLP analogs, or the drugs which we call as GLP now, I guess that's where it started. Did you know it came from a lizard?
Oh my God, no.
Yes. So there was this orange lizard, I think it's called the Gila lizard, that had a compound in its saliva which was mimicking this GLP, and it was not getting broken down by these DPP peptides, DPP enzymes, right? That's where they started synthesizing GLP analogs, the drugs which we talk about nowadays. I think when it started, they had generation 1 drugs, as we call it. They used to target your GLP receptors, doing the same things that the natural GLP in our body does. And it started as a daily injection, I think. And it's not very user-friendly, right? Then they started researching and came up with your generation 2 drugs, what we call as Ozempic and Wegovy, to control your blood sugar. And because of the satiety, there is also weight loss. These are single agonists, like I like to call them, because they go and target only these GLP receptors. Furthermore, we have generation 3 drugs now, your terzapeptide, the Mounjaro. Yes, so they are dual agonists. They do act like your GLP. They also go and
act on another component, GIP agonist, as we like to call it. This is also something which tries to enhance your insulin secretion. So it's like two horses pulling a cart, taking you to where you want to go. There are other compounds in research still, something we like to call retatrutide. That's a third generation drug as well. We call it as a triple agonist. So there's another horse in the play. This goes and acts on something called as a glucagon receptors. So in research, it helps to clear out fat faster, specifically in the liver. So basically more insulin sensitivity. But this is still in research. I think there is also recently what we came across was GLP stacking, giving a combination of GLPs for better effect. So yeah, these have all been in research for quite a while, and I think as time goes on, being a new drug, there are a lot of limited data, as I would like to call it. So you need to have a safe play. You need to understand what it is, understand is it for you, and then take a call whether you need to take it or not.
So, based on whatever you just told me, I think a lot of over the last few decades, a lot of usage or understanding around these drugs have primarily been around managing diabetes. So even now, when I speak to a lot of people, they say, "Oh my God, did you know this is a diabetes drug, and how can you use it?" kind of a thing. So that's like that seems to be a fear among people without understanding that actually it's not that way, especially like you said with reta, it acts on various aspects of your health. What are the major inhibitions that you observe? You have treated over thousands of patients throughout your career with metabolic disorder. What are the major inhibitions that they come up with, to the fears around this drug, the usage of this drug? Because I, as a commoner, as a common person, the fears are like, oh my God, this is a diabetes drug. It's addictive. It's this. So, like, is there a bubble to burst there?
Yes, definitely. So, more than the fear of the drug, there is a lot of social stigma around any metabolic disorder. Even PMOD of late, a lot of people are coming out of it. Obesity has been something which has been looked down upon for many years, if you ask me. There is still a lot of social stigma as to I am overweight. I need to go for help. That is the first hurdle. And when we have things like the GLP marketed as miracle drugs, it gets taken for granted, I think. People brand obese patients with a lack of willpower, but that's not the case. They do have a metabolic disruption in them which needs correction. It's like, let's say you're driving a car and you've put the accelerator on, you're able to go smoothly. Let's say this is a normal person. But for someone with obesity, with insulin resistance, with any kind of metabolic distress, it's like driving the same car with the same amount of acceleration but with a handbrake on, right? You might go to that place. But you'll definitely go much slower and you'll be revving up the engine so much, stressing out your engine so much. This is not what we want. GLPs act like this bridge. They're like, let's say it's like a lever trying to put your handbrake down. When that is possible, we are just going to help you reach your goal faster.
So, I understand what you're saying. This is, I guess, the umbrella of GLP is just to support and get you back to your normal, the way your body should function, the metabolism of your body. But today, there's a lot of news about how everything has become cheaper. GLP has become cheaper. Ozempic has become cheaper on the news. There's been so much talk around it. Who is the right candidate for usage of GLP? Because is it like a cheat code for weight loss now? Is it that now?
It's definitely not a cheat code, and it's definitely not an easy pass as well. So anyone who has a BMI of more than 30, class 2, class 3 obesity, anyone who has a metabolic disruption, let's say PMOD, striking insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome for a long time, anyone who's, followed a good protocol to lose weight and they followed it diligently with good lifestyle measures and they still seem to be stuck. These people, it's very evident that they have a metabolic disorder, right? There's something underlying. These people are ideal candidates for taking a GLP. And when we ask anyone to take a GLP, it's not something, okay, now you have 6 kgs excess, lose it all in 1 month. No, that's not how it works. Like I said, this is just going to be a hand-holding process, a safe passage to help someone lose weight healthily. So it needs to be done in a systematic way. It needs to be done slowly. It needs to be done in observance with a physician or with a group of physicians, with a good team. If you have a dietitian and a physician combo, that's the gold package for you, right? But at the same time, like you said, because of the availability, because of the easy accessibility, we do hear a lot of people requesting, I am getting married in 2 months, I need to lose 10 kgs. That's not the way it is. If you are someone who is young, who has a good metabolism, when you have your natural metabolism working for you, you don't need another extra player in hand, right? It becomes it's like having a threesome.
But, one of the other issues or patterns I've observed in my conversations with other, some people from the medical field, some people who are non-medical, and I've spoken about these topics. It's like there are so many dietitians today. Social media is rife with diet tips and everything. And if coming to you as a metabolic expert and then you again talking about lifestyle management and your diet, what is the reason for you to do so? Like, everybody knows what to eat today, if you see as such. Even though it may not be working for them and they're not able to lose weight, it's not an easy process to lose weight, right? Why are you so insistent on that, the focusing on lifestyle management? Like, what is there a reason why a GLP drug, taking a drug is not as important as lifestyle management, or just taking a drug without lifestyle management can have a flip side?
So you're asking, if let's say there is a client who's on GLPs, do I still ask them to eat mindfully? Do I still ask them to exercise or be active? The answer is yes. Why do we need to do this? Like I said, every GLP is not only going to make you lose, it's not whether it's going to make you lose weight. We have to concentrate on how it is letting you lose weight or lose fat. In my case, I like to call it as fat loss. I don't like to call it as weight loss, right? Like I said, your body is going to feel full faster. Because of that, you're going to start experiencing nausea. Your gut motility is going to become slower. So because of that, you're going to start experiencing constipation. You're going to automatically start eating less. But when you are eating less, you're also providing your body with lesser nutrients that it needs to sustain, right? So you need to make sure you're telling your patient, see, you are on this, this is how much you ate before, this is how much you're eating now. But in this itself, I need to make sure they're having enough of macros, they're having enough of micronutrients to make sure they're not losing muscle in this case, right? We'll come to the muscle again. Along with this food, they're also going to be taking lesser water, right? We want them to be hydrated, especially in our tropical climate here. There's so much of sweat loss, right? You tend to get dehydrated really fast. This will again aggravate your constipation more. These are reasons why you need to make sure that you're also eating properly. Even though there is something telling you, no, I don't want to eat, my food is tasting wrong, but you need to make sure there is someone telling you, okay, if you're able to have only 1 cup of food, make sure that 1 cup is having so much of carbs, so much of protein, so much of fats. This is something which needs to be monitored on a daily on a daily base, because you are going to be feeling different every day. On the day you take the drug, you might be feeling a lot more nauseous. On the days towards, or let's say we're going to take your next dose tomorrow, today you might be eating a lot more, right? So this needs continuous monitoring. This is one. Secondly, when you are pharmacologically allowing fat loss to happen, there are chances of you to lose muscle as well. Why do we want to maintain muscle? Muscle is an extremely metabolically active tissue. This GLP is not a permanent solution, right? It is just a kind of, like I said, a horse or a worker trying to help you move and reach your goal. We are going to achieve your fat loss and then start tapering it down slowly, like how you do with your steroids. Once you go out of the drug, we still want you to maintain good lifestyle. We still want you to have that metabolic correction. So these GLPs are just for metabolic correction, right? A very good way for you to have a good metabolism is having a good active muscle tissue. Right. This is the first thing. Secondly, you would have heard about the Ozempic faces, the change in the contour of
That's
structure.
so scary.
Yes. So the face is what everyone looks at, But there might be a lot of muscle loss in your hands and legs as well, right? We don't want this. This is also another reason why you need to eat well, yes. Also why you can't just overdose. You need to have a planned protocol as to what is the dose you start with. Keep monitoring. Then you realize, okay, this patient is doing well with this drug. Maybe we can spike it a little bit more. Have a talk with your physician team. Understand if we spike it, what is it that she has to eat. Let's say that we hardly get people with just plain obesity. It is almost always with diabetes, with hypertension, with thyroid, right? Those things need to be taken into consideration because they'll be on their diabetic, they might be on their diabetic meds, they might be on your thyroid pill, they might be having a hypertensive pill. All these things need to be taken into consideration and then take a decision whether to spike up your dose or bring it down. And for every spike, how much are they eating? How much are they able to exercise? Let's say that someone has taken their shot today. They're not feeling well. They didn't exercise. The next day also they don't feel like exercising. I can't just let it go. What should you do? Okay, if you're not able to lift weights, go for a walk. Do an inclined walk. These things have to be maintained because once you're out of the drug, once you get your food noise back, you should have a disciplined lifestyle in such a way that you know this is what is good for me, this is how much of exercise I have to do, because you don't want that weight to get back again. It's like going down that same road.
So, is there a age, like, even if you see the number of younger people who are obese today, it's like drastically high, even in their 20s. Is there an age where you say that, okay, only after this age you can be introduced to a drug like this?
I don't think there is a set age because we're at this time where I'm seeing 22-year-olds with type 2 diabetes and fatty liver. So I don't think the age is what counts, or rather I think the duration in which you've been suffering, I think, is a better measure. Of recent, I think my youngest, recently we had a 26-year-old with same type 2 diabetes with fatty liver. She was looking to lose weight because she wanted to get married. And they had initially came inquiring about the GLP, but see, she was very metabolically active and she's a very young girl. I thought, let's just try, because I wanted to convince her. When we get someone who's exposed to so much of information, that unlearning is what takes a lot of time as a physician. To make them sit down and tell, no, see, this is how it works, but this is what you can do, and put them into a program and make them follow. She was metabolically active, and once she realized that she's able to lose weight without any drug, she was very fine. At the same time, we do get a little older patients who want to lose weight and who don't want the drug, but they're not metabolically active. They come at this point of frustration that, doc, I've tried everything. I've tried intermittent, I've tried keto, they've basically tried everything which is not good for them also, and everything has failed. So then we realize they're metabolically not very active, they're not really sound, they need help. Again, making them unlearn about the mishappenings of the drug takes time, and then when we put them, and when they start seeing results, they get a little better at it. That being said, coming back to when you spoke to me about the miracle drug, they just think that you can take a shot or pop a pill and you can lose weight. That's not
so
it.
self-dosing, today it's all available in drugs, in pills. What is the efficacy of that? And is it, I mean, it's sold as supplements. In supplements, you have GLP combinations and stuff like that, which I mean, I don't know. I see so much on social media nowadays. I'm not a medical person, but to me, it does look like, oh my God, it is a GLP drug, which is
Oh no,
orally.
there are a lot of things saying natural GLP, which they actually are not. I did see a lot of powders. Someone had brought it, the natural GLP powder, but no, they are not GLPs. As of now, GLPs are available as injectable and oral forms as well. Any other powder form brought by dabbas which are not pharmacologically tested are not GLPs. I think they have to be looked at more clearly. But coming to the self-dosing, I have seen a lot of female clients who have this, I think it's a social stigma still, to reach out and ask for help saying, I need to lose weight, or I want to fit into that one dress before I go for a vacation. I can empathize why they do that, but as a physician, it's very alarming for me because they take the effort to come meet any physician only once they reach a point of total discomfort, right? And this could have been completely stopped with correct dosing, with first analyzing what do you first need a GLP is what we need to analyze first. Secondly, what is the type of peptide you need is also something we need to see, because there are various things available. Thirdly, are you someone who can eat, exercise, sleep the correct way we ask you to when you take the drug? Because it's something new to you. It is a foreign compound which you are injecting. It is going to do things to you. You are going to have some kind of hassle. Will you be able to tolerate it? These are a lot of things you need to consider before you even take the drug. And this is the conversation you need to have with your physician as well. Even if you are being prescribed a GLP, you need to understand that it's not a come and go process. It has to be a continuous process. You need to be in constant touch with a team of people who are helping you. There has to be a physician informed. If you're having gastritis, you take the shot and you go home, you develop nausea, what do? Right? And it's frightening as a patient. I understand it can be quite frightening. You have to have someone within reach. You need to know that, okay, even if I get constipation, if I'm not able to pass stools for a day, I know that this doctor they're going to be there to help me. You need to have, let's say you have thyroid as well, you need to understand that there is a physician who specializes in this, who's going to help you alter your doses. And let's say that you're going out for dinner and you don't know what to eat from there. You can't tell your friends that, hey, I'm on the GLP, I can't eat this. There's so much of stigma around that as well. So you need to also understand that you cannot just send a message and to your team, and the team will be able to help you saying, okay, don't have the coconut chutney. So it's a team effort. You can't just self-dose, and you can't be your own team. You have to have a bunch of people, because like I said, it's not a one-time thing, right? It's like a 3-month, 4-month process. So you need to, even before you take the decision of taking it as an over-the-counter drug, you need to have that conversation with a good physician who's knowledgeable about what are the peptides available, and who's also willing to take an extra effort to make sure that they follow you and make sure they take you safely to the other side of the shore.
I'm very curious. So, can we actually gain weight after we complete our course of GLP? And is this addictive? Is it like, will we reach a point where our body cannot function without it?
No, I think that it's a very complicated question. We do have a lot of people who come back once they're out of the GLP, saying that the food noise has come back. But can we make sure this doesn't happen? Yes. Is it easy? No. Just like how any person who loses weight and struggles to maintain it, it is the same struggle, right? But how do you make sure that you can prevent it from happening? The first thing is making sure you have a good protocol of dosing down. You can't just go cold turkey on your GLP. You need to bring it down. Like I said, very similar to how we taper and stop your steroids, right? This is one thing. Second, this is also why when you are on the regimen, it is important to maintain a good lifestyle and portion your meals well, because that is something you must follow for the rest of your life. You always need to have a good lifestyle plan. You always need to eat healthily and eat mindfully according to that current situation. This is also something you can advise any person who has lost weight without any GLP, right? Is it a specific GLP related matter? No. But where does this addiction come? I think it's partly because of the media presence that there is this availability. You can go and get it done. And people talking about, oh, how I can easily lose weight using your GLP. That is one concept. The second thing is knowing that there is a self-doubt. Can I do it? Will I be able to follow a good lifestyle after that? This is a very big question a lot of people have asked me. Again, the answer is yes. And this is exactly why also you need to practice this exercising and good lifestyle and good diet practices even when you start your regimen. As a rule, if we had the power, I'd like to make them first follow a good diet regimen first and then get into the program. But sometimes it's not easy to convince people of that 3 or 4 months in the beginning. But if you have a disciplined lifestyle, a disciplined food habit, you don't need to put it back on.
So, today a lot of people are opening to the idea of using GLPs because they understand that there's no point of harboring a disease in your body. If your waist size is 34, 38, it is an indicator of ill health. It is an indicator that there could be a future uh, issues with your heart or something like that. There's a lot of information floating around. People are aware. But how can, if I, as a layman, want to decide that I want to start this and I want to ask my physician to help me, what should I ask him or her so that I can decide that this physician is the right physician for me to start my journey of weight loss?
I think first it's a dialogue you have to establish with your physician. Like I said, it is you first need to understand if your physician will be willing to have time with you. Will he be willing to mobilize a team who will be dedicated to your well-being? Because it's not a one-time consultation and going thing. It is a continuous process. So you need to be in continuous contact with people who will be able to help you. It can be that physician or it can be his team, right? This is one. Second, make sure you have the same dialogue with your physician with your blood reports. You need to know if you've been assessed right, if all your metabolic parameters are being checked, if your organ systems are being checked, if your liver is normal, your renal functions are within range, will you be able to tolerate the drug is also something you need to make sure your physician understands. See, he should know what is the time you wake up. He should know how long will you be able to exercise in a month, how long will you be able to exercise in a week, how many minutes will you be able to do that, what is the work that you do, are you in a sitting work, are you in a moving around work, are you going to be traveling in the next 4 or 5 months. These are all very important questions you need to have with him. And if they are willing to first hear you out, second understand and empathize with you, and make sure they commit to a 4, 5, 6 months long duration, then they would be a good match for you.
We spoke a lot about microdosing and possibly abuse of such drugs also going forward because of easy access to it. Can you share some of the most common flip side or the most common observations you're making today on recurrent problems that are happening with people who are actually following this path of self medication or self decision, or making a wrong choice of a physician also maybe? What is going wrong? What is happening today? What's the reality?
So this also covers the addiction which you spoke about. And this is also one of the reasons why I think twice, thrice before I even suggested GLP to anyone, right? A lot of things I hear nowadays, because this has been available in the grey market for quite a while. Like even before it was released, I see people come saying, I've been taking for so many months. I'm quite surprised first. So almost all the complicated complaints we receive has been out of two major things. Actually, I should say one major thing, that is self-dosing. And when you self-dose, there is no proper feedback as to if it is the right dose for you, right? That is one. The second is there is no one to really monitor or have accountability for what is the lifestyle you're following when you're taking these drugs, in the case of eating properly or exercising properly. When this goes, in a kind of imbalance, I feel a lot of people tend to go back to the drug. Let's say you just finished a dose or you stopped in the middle, there was no one to tell you, you didn't take it properly, you didn't taper it down properly, and this food noise just suddenly comes into your head and you don't know how to handle it. There is no team backing you up saying, no, this is okay, this is what you have to eat at this time. They tend to go back and buy the drug again because it's available, it's just there, right? And let's say you're supposed to have taken it only for 6 months for your metabolic profile, and somewhere it has gone wrong, and then you go back in the 8th month and you take it again. This becomes this kind of a chronic habit, okay? And these are not meant to be taken that way. When this happens, there are a lot of other messy things which is happening in your body. Pancreatitis, gallstones. Remember we spoke about how the gut motility is slowing down, constipation. We see a lot of people suffering because of this. And they don't just come with these complications, they come with complications along with rebound weight loss because their whole regimen itself was not monitored well, right? And when they come this way, you can't again give them the same GLP, good protocol either, because they've already done the damage because of the drug. They have to solely depend upon their own eating and dieting habits with this new disorder, with an uncorrected metabolic disorder as well. So they've made their life more difficult. The other thing which we see is, like you said, microdosing. I am hearing this often. It's not advised. It is not in any protocol. But I think because of the availability of the drug, it's like saying, okay, I'm going to go out in the sun, so let me put a lot of sunscreen and go. In that way, yeah, it's fine. But here, or let's say there is a diabetic patient, they are taking medication, yes, to control the sugar spike, but that doesn't mean they can just go have one full glass of milkshake or one big bowl of gulab jam, right? But that is what we see happening nowadays, especially when people are so particular that I have to look good, I have to fit into this dress, I need to also have a good social life, and there's so much of pressure. They let me just go to this party, let me just have this good full meal, and then I'll just come back and I'll take a GLP and blow it off. No, that's not how it works. You're causing a lot of confusion in your body. Maybe when you are young or when you're metabolically active and it is somehow burning your fat. But what about later? What about when your body starts getting confused as to what is the synthetic, what is the natural? And there are so many seesaws happening, and you won't have anything else to help you correct your metabolism as well. It's like playing Russian roulette, right? You don't know when it's going to hit you off. And this is something, I don't think these GLP should be over the counter at all, because there's so much of bad things which might happen, especially in a time where we're living with so much of information available. Just having the information doesn't mean you're you're eligible to use it, right? There's a lot of difference in just knowing something and knowing how to use it, when to use it, who to use it on. For that, you need to have a registered physician to help you through that. Taking it over the counter is not going to benefit anyone except maybe the doctor, because you have to come back to them later.
Doctor, I saw this about a young musician who started taking Ozempic because she wanted to look good. And then finally, after a few months, she was diagnosed with some form of osteoporosis.
Okay.
And I saw a reel where she's talking about, this has happened to me. So that's also, that is also a cause because of poor lifestyle management?
Yes, it could be a mix of both. It could be that she was not nutritioned well. She didn't take good balanced food during the course, and also didn't have enough lifestyle measures during the course as well. Because remember how we spoke about, you're able to eat lesser, but in that less quantity, you need to have all the nutrients available, right? When you don't have enough nutrition for sustenance, as you are losing weight, you will lose muscle, you will lose bone as well. Bone is also an extremely metabolically active tissue, and bone is something which is, I feel, more difficult to put on. Muscle also, maybe it's a little easier when compared to bone, but once you lose your bone, it's the framework of your whole body, right? But how you can overcome this, especially as women, let's say more so for postmenopausal women, there is this extra play of supplements as well. The physician needs to see you and say, okay, for the past 3 weeks, you've been eating lesser, you've not been having enough protein. Do you need to take a protein supplement? Yes, go ahead. If you feel this person is not eating enough fruits or vegetables, maybe we can give them multivitamin supplements. Or let's say in your case, I feel they're going to lose a lot of bone, or they're losing a little bit more fat than what I expected. They're not able to exercise because of maybe some joint issue. Maybe give them a calcium supplement. So these are things which needs to be looked after. And when it's not done, like I said, it has a lot of long-term effects when it's not done by the right people and it's not done in the right way.
I can say this is truly a boon for people who are really, really struggling with weight loss. For people, it's very easy to say, why don't you just go to the gym, you'll lose weight. Why don't you just go for 14,000 steps, you'll lose weight. But that's not how it works. It really affects you. It really affects the way people look at you. It really affects the way you look at the world. And this drug is something that can really change lives and also can be misused, unfortunately. It was a very insightful conversation, Doctor. Thank you so much for coming here today. Is there anything else you would like to share?
I think we first need to stop stigmatizing people who need to lose weight, be it just weight loss or even obesity. When you start, isolating them or calling it out, you make it more difficult for people to come forward asking for help. And what I feel is anyone who's come or approached me for, weight loss, they find it so difficult to open up about their problems to their own families at times. And this is also another thing. You need to find a physician who empathizes with you, right? You might be having sleep disorder and no one in your family is able to appreciate that. They go and sleep in another room. It's a genuine concern for both of them, but this also needs to be addressed. So let's just not say, oh my God, you've put on weight. Or even if someone is genuinely losing weight, whether with GLP or without GLP, let's not call it out. Oh my God, you lost weight. Are you on the GLP? So what? So what if she or he is, right? We went to a birthday party. There was this person who I've been meeting quite a while, and he is on the heavier side. But when I met him after a long time. He has lost quite a bit of weight. And see, I am a very curious person, and this is my field of expertise. So I did ask him, hey, you look really good, you lost weight. He's like, yeah, but I didn't do any of the GLP. Why? Why have we come to a place where we need to first brand that I might or might have used it, might not have used this, and also bring it out in such a way that he got so defensive to establish that yes, I've lost weight, I have not used it. So what even if he did? Good for him, he's lost weight. That's
Yeah,
a
another
bad.
common thing I see, with all this is if a person is actually seeking for help also, right? People who are healthier, who are active around them, the friend circle and all, they'll say, Arey, just start doing gym, it'll be fine. Don't bother. It's so easy to just say things to people without understanding what is the reality of their life.
Yes.
It's just so easy to say, you just go to the gym, you just walk, you'll lose weight. You just do this, you'll lose weight. Or even if somebody's trying to do something like not have sugar, just have this drink today. You come to my house, how can you not eat a sweet? I think social pressure is a very
lot.
a horrible thing to
We
be.
had a client who's on grade 3 fatty liver, and we have put him on the program just to lose weight. Just eat well is what we asked him. And he called me before he was going on a trip with his friends. He didn't call me to inform me he's not available. He called to say, Doc, I'm very scared because I'm going to meet a bunch of my friends and they will pressurize me to have a glass. I said, no. Every drop you have is poison. I don't care what you do. Even if you have to banish your friends, you're not having. But two things happened. He got back home and he called me. He said, because I spoke to you, I made up my mind, no, I should not have. See, this is why I said you need to have a physician who's available all the time, right? Secondly, and he said the same thing, that everyone was coercing him, saying it's just one drink, just have. We need to stop that. I think we also have to prioritize each one's health and also your loved one's health before you prioritize social acceptance or social norms.
And if you're not able to find a group who's understanding you for your choices, I think it's just better to be alone at home. I mean, seriously.
No, I want to have my bunch of friends.
Yeah. But I mean, it's so sad. I mean, it happens so often. Like I have observed it so often.
See, what I've seen is a lot of people who've started putting on weight, no? They come, I've also seen they come to the doctor as a last resort. They tend to go to chat GPT first and get a diet plan or meet a bunch of nutritionists. See, weight loss is different from obesity. Let's say you're someone who's 55 kgs, you've gone for a trip for 2 weeks, you come back 5 kgs extra. That is weight loss. Meet any nutritionist, they will be able to help you with a plan. You get back to routine, you'll be fine. But when you have a metabolic disorder, when your weight gain is starting because something in you is not right, the first person you have to meet is the doc. You need to make sure that you're assessed well and that someone is diagnosing you that this is your condition. Because of this, you will have weight gain. So every diet you follow should target not your weight or your calories, but it should target this metabolic problem. That is a place we have to be. And that also starts when you start normalizing metabolic disorders. You shouldn't just see it as overweight. You should see it as a metabolic disorder. You go meet a specialist. You go get these tests done. That is something we really have to like normalize. Like how we get our annual test checkup done. okay, 2 kg potitsa, we put on 2 kgs, I'm not able to lose it like before, we need to go and get it checked is what something we need to put it in our list and keep it in our head all the time. Especially when we have these age, I like to call it as age switch. You know, like how you'll be 35, your body reacts one way, and then you hit 40, you're completely different, right? So we have different places in our life where our body changes. And when those places you tend to put on weight, losing hair, all these things, you need to get your metabolism checked and you need to get it addressed the right way.
Interesting. I really hope that this conversation will be helpful to a lot of people who are seeking help, who are thinking of seeking help. And thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
I'll tag your details at the bottom of this episode. So I hope people are able to reach out to you and get the help they need.
Yes, thank you.